Hello everybody, welcome back to the Football Daily Weekly. Pleasure to see you looking at us. It's a Q&A. Yeah, that's right. You provide the questions and we hopefully provide the answers. Dave and Lawrence are here.
Hello.
To provide said answers. Gentlemen, let's get on with things. First up, at Kuba Jonah is asking, in Germany there are doubts about Götze's potential, yet despite him getting the World Cup winning goal.
But that was the point, he was on as a sub. He's an impact player in that sense. And I guess that's why there's questions over his potential.
The official man of the match in the World Cup final.
Yeah, amazing really.
What do you think about him and his future?
He started the season pretty well. I think he was the top scorer midfielder for players under 23 in Europe's top 5 leagues. He's scored like 7 goals in the first 6 games or 8 games or something. But he's really dropped off. And now because the likes of Ribery and Robin have gone out the team, he's had to play this creative wide role where he's got to be the focal point, he's got to make the difference, and he just hasn't done it. He hasn't cut the mustard. Borussia Dortmund, he was best behind a striker, behind Lewandowski, combining very well, then drifting wide. If he starts wide and has to get the ball wide and then go sort of create inside, it doesn't work for him. So maybe he's still living on that World Cup hype. Maybe he hasn't got over that himself. He hasn't moved on. Maybe he's tired. That could be one thing. He's played a lot of minutes these last 2 years. He's still a young player.
Yeah, I think Dave's got a point there. He's still very, very young. He's still very much in his early 20s and whatnot. He does have an enormous amount of potential. Do you see him being one of the best midfielders in Europe? Will we be talking about him in the way we talk about, Schweinsteiger and people like that?
I mean, can I say I think it would have been a better move not to go to Bayern?
Yes, we shouldn't have left Dortmund. He was in Dortmund, he was playing really good football. It all worked for him at Dortmund. Obviously Bayern triggered his release and he decided to go, probably got offered a wedge, but it was a silly move, very, very silly move. I mean,
in retrospect it was a silly move, but at the time you also think just...
Well, it's a silly move in terms of just playing football, but if he's getting double the amount of money, you can't blame him.
Yes, but at the same time you've got to say, well, what is your goal in your career? And I know that it's probably to earn a lot of money, but you can earn that in other ways, especially if you're playing consistent football. You're going to be getting big deals from Nike, those kind of guys.
But as you say, it's not all about money.
I'd question that his goal in his career is to win titles and to win individual honours, and that is the goal of a footballer. He'd had better chance of doing that at Borussia Dortmund than that at Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich obviously had the likes of Robin, Thomas Muller, Ribery, Shaqiri, all these players that played his position. It's just silly from his agent and him moving there.
It's timing in that sense, isn't it? And that's all about what a legend is. Are they there at the right time? If Gerrard had come through now at Liverpool, maybe he wouldn't have fitted into the team. He's too explosive, and then therefore he would have been sold off to someone else, and he wouldn't have been that club legend. So it's all about timing for Götze, and you just wonder, does he have the timing with him? I know it's incredible timing to come on and do all these great things, and he's a fantastic player technically, very gifted. But you just think, is he wasted at Bayern?
Well, we certainly hope not, and we want him to fulfil that potential.
Yeah.
Up next, we've got at the Samuel Taylor, and he's asking, what players do you see being the successors for Gerrard, Lampard and Scholes in the EPL?
So I think you've got to look at Ramsey as being one of the successors to Gerrard, Lampard and Scholes. He was brilliant at the weekend against Man United.
Influential midfielder role.
Yeah, you see obviously Wenger's been playing him on the right side a little bit this season and centrally. Start of the season, his goal scoring record was incredible from central midfield. I think he's definitely going to be there, the sort of goal scoring midfield of our sort of generation that we're seeing coming through now.
Yeah, I mean Gerrard, Lampard and Scholes were very influential, and they would often run games and whatnot. Sterling has played a lot on the wing, but if he's moved centrally, could he be one of those players if he stays? Of course,
he does drop deep at Liverpool sometimes. So you think, he'll probably be whichever club he goes to. That's the question: is if he stays at Liverpool, you see him being a legend. But you wonder, like Gerrard said, if he goes somewhere else, will he just be a number? And that's where you become less of a legend. I mean, we've seen a couple of players go to Man City. Who are the young wingers that went to Man City?
Scott
Johnson.
Sinclair was, Adam Johnson. You got Jack Rodwell for Everton that was very promising.
Now at Sunderland.
Yeah,
exactly, gone.
What about
Henderson?
Well, Henderson, I think, would certainly be one. Yeah,
but Henderson's a potential England captain for a lot of
absolutely. But Gerrard, Ross Barkley said that Gerrard said to him, "There's nothing better than playing for the team that you supported as a young lad and grew up with." Ross Barkley may be one of them.
He's had a pretty strange season, should we say?
But he's very young. I mean, we're talking about. I mean, Gerrard's just bowed out the Premier League at the age of 34, coming up 35. Barkley's only 19.
I think
20. So there's plenty of time.
I think he needs a move. I reckon Barkley does. I think Barkley's one of those players that potentially
not hear Gerrard.
Not quite. I'd argue against Gerrard and say that Barkley needs a change of scenery right now. Looks a little bit demotivated in a way. He hasn't scored.
Would he just need a bit of motivation, Dave?
Yeah, Dave.
I think the system doesn't suit him. I think he needs something else. I think he needs to be maybe more of a heartbeat to the side, more influential in the side.
What about Jack Wilshere?
Yeah, but a great shout again.
If he can stay fit.
It's also that they're in the similar mould, so they'll become similar legends. Those kind of guys. I mean, none of these guys that we're listing here are the Thierry Henry type legends. They're not the mercurial players. They're the solid ones who are the heartbeat of the team in that sense. That's why they're the legends for their side.
John Joe Shelvey.
But that's why your point of staying at your boyhood club and
John Joe
creating a
Shelvey.
legend around that makes more sense with these guys. Yeah.
John Joe Shelvey.
John Joe Shelvey.
To go back to Charlton and be a legend there.
I love Shelvey.
Loftus-Cheek is one that's being kind of bandied around, and you think he's very young still.
Yeah.
But you do think, that's worth it as well.
Completed
as a shout.
100% of his passes against Liverpool.
There you go.
And that's
2
why
weeks
he'll be a
ago.
Is something
legend.
like Oxlade-Chamberlain, or is that slightly wishful
You love the
thinking?
idea that he'll be a legend at that club, don't you? But he just doesn't get on the pitch enough.
But at the start of the season, when they had this very big injury crisis, I'd say Oxlade-Chamberlain was Arsenal's best player on the
Exactly.
right-hand side with Sanchez.
Yeah.
And he's sort of drifted out now and he's not really playing.
Ryan Mason at Spurs?
I'd say Bentaleb over Ryan Mason. Bentaleb's completed more passes than any player under 21 in the Premier League this season. So I think he's got the potential to be a good controller.
George and Ive at Liverpool will be a legend. He will.
We'll have to wait and see.
He has no agent, do you know that?
Yeah,
His
right.
parents are his agent right now.
I like that.
Yeah.
At the Ish Danish is asking, where do Chelsea need to improve next season to ensure a strong Champions League campaign, Lawrence?
Good question. I mean, that was part of it. Is well, I mean, Diego Costa is their improvement up front, isn't it?
Well, no, but he was injured a lot. Drogba will be leaving. You will be left with Lloyd Cromie and Diego Costa.
Well, okay, so what I would say is, if we're talking about improvement, then it's adding men to the squad. Then it's not necessarily improving. It's adding firepower. Right? So I'd say maybe in midfield they need to improve.
Probably central midfield, maybe
Yeah.
get another a solid foundation as well to sit next to Matic in the bigger games. Potentially right midfield. Obviously they signed Cuadrado, a brilliant player. He's not been played, looks shy of confidence now. Pedro's going on a free transfer in the summer.
Really?
Could be a very interesting
Can you believe
signing. It's crazy. Why Barcelona would let Pedro leave? Don't understand, but could work very well in Mourinho's system. He presses very well. Harry's very well. Knows structurally how to fit into a team. Knows how to do a job. Can score goals. You know, it could be a perfect fit for Chelsea.
Yeah, interesting stuff. At Andre24 is asking, does Carlo Ancelotti deserve to stay at Real Madrid? And if not, where will he go, Lawrence?
Good question. I think Carlo hasn't achieved enough this season, has he?
No, not at all.
And for that reason, to be honest, Carlo Ancelotti merits being at any club because he's Carlo Ancelotti, right? But I think he's dealt with a lot this season politically. And for that reason, just keeping them kind of on this course has been a great achievement. For that reason, I say he does deserve to stay. Whether he wants to stay is another thing. I think it's a bit of a political minefield.
You said he hasn't done enough to stay. Second in the league, semi-final Champions League. I mean, they've only won one league in the last 7 years or something like that. They've not won the Champions League that much of late. Obviously, they got their 10th title. But, you know, I understand Real Madrid, they demand success, but they haven't had it every year.
Yeah.
Is it stupid to get rid of him? There's not that many top-end managers around. Who on earth are they going to get to replace him?
I think it is a bit stupid in the way. Obviously, you'd argue that potentially tactically it was the reason why they lost to Juventus. You know, Allegri completely beat him in a tactical sense. Won that
They
game.
had chances, Madrid. I mean, Gareth Bale, if it maybe put one or two away.
They did, but the overall flow of the two legs, Real Madrid did not deserve to win that tie. You'd say Juventus definitely deserved to win that tie.
So on the base of that, he doesn't deserve to stay?
Well, this is just Real Madrid as a club. If me as an outsider, no, he should definitely stay. You know, he's a very very good manager.
Okay.
Players obviously get on with him, but from the Real Madrid point of view, no, he's got to move on.
Analyse him on his own, yes, he deserves to stay. Analyse him within a Real Madrid context, from their perspective, they would say he deserves to stay.
So where does he go then?
He's got his book is really interesting. I'd say if you haven't read it, his autobiography is quite interesting. When he moved from AC Milan to Real Madrid, he was potentially supposed to move the summer before. You know, he had negotiations, that sort of thing. Maybe he's already got a deal in place. That's the type of thing Ancelotti would do.
Where?
Back to Italy.
Where?
Well, he didn't go from Milan to Real Madrid, though, did he?
Sorry, via Chelsea.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, and Paris Saint-Germain. But every time that he's moved clubs, my point was a bit different. Every time he's moved clubs, he's already had it sorted out before the end of the season. He's always gone to meet the owner,
Right.
the Berlusconi's, the president of Real Madrid, whoever he was at that time, to sort it out. So maybe
he's
he's
at Man City. Then.
Man City?
Man
Well,
City could work quite nicely.
if Pellegrini does go, we don't know yet. At Skip_32.
Yeah.
Is Messi? I think he means are Messi, Suarez, and Neymar the best front three of all time?
What he's done there is he's made them into one body. So you do say he is there, don't you?
That's true, yeah.
Is Neymar, Messi and Suarez
MSN.
Or can you make that into one long name? Messi, Suarez, Neymar.
I'll
come up with it. You guys talk.
The three of them, the best front three of all time.
Well, they've scored 115 goals this season in all competitions.
Suezma.
Pretty incredible.
Which is more than the vast majority of teams put together.
Exactly. They've been absolutely on fire this year. I think they've got a brilliant blend of a creator, goal scorer, and then Neymar, a sort of trickster, winger type player. I think it's a brilliant blend of that. Other ones that you mentioned, Ronaldo, Tevez, Rooney, forgot his last name. Yep. Yeah, you'd say that they were probably up there with one of the Wazza, Rooney. Then Bale, BBC is pretty good, but I'd definitely say that these guys, if they win the Champions League and they win the King's Cup in Spain, yes.
Because Manchester United did win the Champions League with those three.
They did.
And then of course you had the previous. I mean, you've got a number of great front threes with Barcelona with Eto'o, Henry, and Messi.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, when you say front three, not that many sides play with a front three, especially as overtly attacking as well. But yes, I mean, they're the best one of all time, certainly up there, Lauren.
Possibly, yeah. And you'd also say that because of their different qualities, that's what makes them, like Dave says,
blend.
Those different qualities, and the fact that Messi is the evolved Messi.
Yeah. Do get your comments in below, everybody. Let us know what you thought of those answers and questions and whatnot. Thank you very much to Dave. Thank you very much to Lawrence. And we'll see you next time.